And welcome to another beautiful day in the city of Baltimore, y'all. This is XTY. I am TN.
Ayoka T. Price.
And Trina.
Hey y'all. So as y'all can see, I'm not there again this week. I'm actually home. Um, had a lot of mommy stuff going on this week. It just wasn't going to work for me to be there, but I'm gonna be with them next week. So this is better than doing nothing.
Miss Trina's not gonna be here next week, unfortunately.
Where you going, Trina?
Kid duties. My son is on a new soccer team, and practice is on Tuesdays at 7:30.
Yep. Unless we switch today.
We can switch today.
We could do that.
You're gonna have to
get out of this now.
You're gonna have to figure it out because it's crazy that today's show is really like wrapped around like being a parent and all of that. Because even though me and Trina have little kids, T's son is older. We always have parent things going on. No matter what happens, no matter what we plan, we always have like little kid stuff happening. It doesn't change. Like Nicholas's practices for football were Monday and Friday. Now they're about to put Wednesdays in. Like it never stops. Like being a parent just never stops. It never stops. It's just the craziest thing.
But before we get started,
cause because I do not remember having a team meeting about J Prime being. This was a sneak attack because I ain't agree to this. I did not agree to J Prime being on this show. He already think that the show is successful because of him. This was not authorized. Like we didn't have no meeting, no powwow about this team. Like we talk about this later.
It's gonna be pretty good though, because it's gonna give us a male perspective of co-parenting.
It's gonna be a good show. So I'm excited about it. Even though Prime on it, that's fine.
But before we start, we gotta drop our plugs. Okay, yeah. So I'm already ready. I'm with it. So y'all know I did my second annual Crab Feast before the pandemic, and the pandemic stopped us from being able to do the third one. Right. So we're getting ready to have the third one. It's going to be on 9/10, y'all. So come out, help me celebrate. TN is going to be hosting.
Yeah, I don't know how.
So I'm super excited about that. Of course, DJ J Prime is going to be on the ones and twos. It's
making it great again.
Yeah, whatever. It's going to be. It's going to be us and Kobe Entertainment that's throwing that party at $75 for the tickets. All you can drink, all you can eat. And it's open buffet and all you can eat crabs as well. So make sure you tell a friend, share our flyer, and I hope to see y'all soon.
All right.
That's it. I think that's it for the plugs, y'all.
Yes. And remember, we can always use sponsors. And if you have an ad, like if you have a business, make sure you reach out to one of us. We have no problem promoting you. All right. So let's get into this show because
we can't talk about co-parenting and drinking. We supposed to be responsible parents right now.
It is what it is. Guess what? I'm drinking in the comfort of my own home. My child is safe and sound, and he'll be asleep soon, and he don't even care. So I'm good. I'm about to sip on this.
I got 99 bananas over there in the corner.
That's strong.
It's gonna be what's gonna be. All right, y'all. So listen.
All right.
As we said earlier, no matter how old our children are, we always got something going on with them. It's just a part of parenting, right?
Right.
And with Father's Day just happening, I saw a lot of fathers fussing about how they never get recognition. It's always about the mothers and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But at the end of the day, because
it's true though.
That's right. But at the end of the day, there's always some sort of drama happening. It's always some sort of drama. It's not with every parent, but a lot of times it's with a lot of parents. So for this show, we are going to talk about co-parenting.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Right. Let me just give just a little thing. I don't have those issues because I'm a single parent. My son's father is right. He's right. So I don't. Hey,
the things that kids say.
But so I don't have those type of issues, but you know, so any opinion that I'm giving, I'm going to be given from
a
the
single
outlook,
mother perspective,
right, of a child that was raised in a single parent home. You know what I mean? Because I don't have that issue now, but I was a child that was a product of that. So, all right, you can go ahead.
Trina always on, never put a phone on mute.
Trina, right? I got that phone, so let's get it started.
So she wants to be able to give us the definition of co-parenting, isn't that what you want?
Yes,
I do.
Okay, so yeah, put your phone on vibrate silent. Peace out.
So let's see. I'm sorry, okay. What is co-parenting? Co-parenting is when two parents who are separated or divorced share parental responsibilities and decision making. I'm gonna keep it there and keep it simple because it's a longer definition, but that's all we really need to know. When you're separate and you're trying to parent together, not being together, which can be, in my opinion, very complicated because you have two different opinions on how things should be done. And if you muddle that with any type of feelings you may have had for the person or past hurts or anything, you end up really not being able to agree on what needs to happen for the children, whether it's in the best interest of the children or not. There's just usually some type of turmoil that keeps you from making decisions. So that's kind of me jumping right into the subject, not really asking a question or talking about what co-parenting is. I'm sure, you got the definition, you know what it is. So I don't know if we want to talk about,
I feel like that's a good start,
the
though.
bad parts of it, the good parts,
the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're gonna cover it all. And
well,
we're gonna try to be 100% transparent here, okay?
Well, I'm wondering if we should start off with the good parts of it because that will tell like this is what it shouldn't like. This is what it is, but this is what it's now become.
Right. What it's supposed to be is two people, two adults coming to an agreement about how to raise the children in separate households, whether it be visitation.
I'm sorry. Why is Prime on this show? I'm just laughing. Because it was a sneak one. Prime on this show. All right. All right. So,
whether it's
go ahead, Trina.
Y'all ratings about to go up.
What activities they participate in, how they're disciplined. These things need to be shared between the two parents to keep everyone on the same page and keep the children. They like structure as much as we think that they like to just run around and do whatever. They do actually like the structure and they need structure, and it needs to be the same in each household or as close to the same as possible, because I don't necessarily want somebody trying to run my household when they're somewhere else, and I don't want to run their household either.
But when it's time to come together, like you said, it's like you have to share. You're sharing custody, you're sharing a child. So even when it comes down to the medical stuff, it's all of that is a factor. And it seems to me, I mean, we can all talk about it, but like really, we're not a good candidate for it to really say the good parts of co-parenting.
Unfortunately.
That's why I was like, let's just talk about the
okay, I see what you're saying. Unless we true, you know what? You absolutely right.
But you can, because you do have good co-parenting.
You know what I'm saying? And this is what's going to help you show today because I'm on here.
See, that's why I tell you this is your fault. You always trying to be nice.
So, but the good parts about it is that to show the kids that two parents can get along great, be in the same room, same space, birthday parties, graduations, any event. It could be just going to the park. You know what I mean? Just it helps the kids' overall mental health. So the good parts to me about co-parenting is the contribution of a kid's overall mental health in a good way.
Have you had that experience?
I have had that experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's a good thing. So
Yep.
what did it take for you to be able to have that experience?
The other
Did
part.
it start out that way?
It depends on the people.
Right.
You gotta mature.
Okay.
Both of y'all have to be mature and understand that it's not about you anymore. It's not about y'all personal feelings towards each other anymore. It's about you have a little person that you're raising.
So did it start out this way?
No.
So it took time.
It took some time, and it took some time for maturity and healing.
Healing.
Yeah,
Woo,
you gotta-
healing from
people gotta
the
heal.
relationship.
Right.
Well, it's not even just relationships.
Mhm.
Like some people have personal stuff that they need to,
Work out.
things that childhood traumas and all that kind of stuff. I don't think like parents really understand that at a certain point in time you don't raise your kid anymore.
So think about it.
The world is raising them.
Right.
Like when you get older and you have responsibilities, and your responsibilities is taking care of your kid, food, clothes, XYZ. That's your life now.
And then if
You
you
at work.
send your kids,
Yep, you send your kid out there to the world. They got school. They got, and now look at the internet access, and the influences that they have, that we're not aware of. Because you think if you want to know something what's going on, where you go to a younger person to ask, what's this, or what they talking about here.
Right.
You don't even know about TikTok until a kid told you about TikTok,
Right.
most likely, or the little dances and stuff. So
that makes a lot of sense because it's like you said, the world, and we don't really think about that.
Yeah.
We do. We, even if we're there with our child, we put a tablet on, or we put on YouTube, and they watching YouTube cartoons, or playing with the video games. It's still no real actual interaction.
Right. It's not.
And that actually, so I'm gonna make this a little personal. That's actually a bone of contention that I have with my children's father. He says they spend too much time on the tablet and wants to regulate not only the time they spend on the tablets and phones at his home, but also the amount of time they spend on tablets and phones at my home. And there are certain things that I do let them, for instance, I have not been very structured on eating at the table and not having your tablets and phones. I do understand how that's important. So let me not say, I don't want to say that, I'm making the best decision when I let them have their tablets and phones at the table. But in his home, they are not allowed to do that. So that causes conflict because then when they go there, they give him a fit, basically.
Yeah.
Like, well, mommy lets me do this, and why can't I do this here? So I am working on that. I shouldn't say working on it because you either do it or you don't. But I've gotten in my head that certain things that he doesn't let them do that I can't let them do. That's still one of them that I haven't actually fully made it over to his side yet. But those are like the little things that that can keep us in this place where we're not getting along. We can't do because we just don't agree on how things
But
are
then
done.
it makes me wonder, like, and I'm not taking credit away from the male perspective, but do women actually carry more responsibility? You understand? Than the
It depends on the woman. It depends on the
because
woman.
when you think about it, it's like after everything that a woman does throughout the day, and then when you come home and then you got to tend to the kids, even though you should be in that mental space to be able to provide and do those things like he's asking you to do at home too as well. But sometimes you're just not in that mental space, or you may be too tired and may be easier, even though there's no excuse.
Right.
But we actually gotta, even though men do carry the weight of the world on their shoulder, and there's no comparison, because I know men love to compare. I'm doing more.
Girl, it depends on the man, and it depends on the woman. Like it depends on the person. You know what I mean? Because it's some men out here. It is what it is.
But it really makes a difference because that's when.
No, I'm serious. It depends on the man and the woman.
I'm serious. All right.
It depends on.
Hey, hold on. What I'm saying,
listen,
bro,
you are an
right,
exception.
this is what you gonna do. You gonna be quiet for a minute. All right?
Oh,
Stay on subject.
T, this is your
All right,
fault.
you gotta go to a whole nother thing. We want the kids to go.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't.
But
I
no,
was
but
doing
it is actually
It
on something
depends.
because that's where the power struggle comes in at. You feel me?
depends
So
on the
we have
parenting
this power
situation.
struggle where
See?
you got the mother saying, I'm doing this, and that. And the father saying, well, I'm doing this, and that at my house. You need to still do the same thing.
And it's
And
one
I
more
don't, because
important
this is
than
my
the other.
house.
Right.
It's my
Exactly.
house. You
So
don't pay
why
the
do
bills
we have
here.
the power struggle? Where can it be where we can
All right,
come
so
to
let me
agree?
ask this question: whatever y'all are, whatever the difference is it helping the child or hurting the child?
Right. In
Right.
the best interest of the child.
You know what I'm saying? So if you know, we'll use what you say about eating with tablets and everything. Is that contributing, or is it going to be a tool? You know, later on, life lessons that they could be sitting there having a real life, you know, a dinner with somebody, and
They can't even
they
communicate.
can't even communicate because they on the phone. You know,
Right.
You gotta. We all have to. I guess pick and choose what we want to fight against when we're co-parenting, even though it's in separate homes.
Right.
But it all comes down to, okay, is this good for them, or am I just being stubborn?
Right.
Yeah.
And in my case, I can honestly say I'm not being stubborn. It's the mother side. And I feel like women tend to lend to what their children want.
Very lenient.
Instead of what children may need. And I hate to say that because I'm a woman and I want to say, oh, I do everything that they need and I make them do what they're supposed to do when they don't get anything that they want. But I'm just acting out of the whole motherly, let me nurture you, let me take care of you, and let me do this. And
it's something different when it comes to our boys, though.
It is.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, speaking on that kind of leads me to boys. Should they be with their dad or their mom?
At 10 years old, they should be with their father.
They should be with both. Because let me tell you something. It ain't no way that if Nick's father was living, that you're going to tell me that I'm going to pack up mine and he's going to go live over there. Absolutely not. Now, he could do visitation. He can do whatever he wants. But mine is coming home. It ain't going to be no. I want my baby here. I need to see what the hell is going on over there. No, I need my child here.
So now look, this
and if he move over there, then I'm gonna pack up my stuff and I'm moving over there. We all staying over there. Ain't no way. We're not sleeping nowhere else for months.
This is what happens now when you say that. And it's like a talk going on. It's like everybody saying now, why are these young men so soft? You know what I'm saying?
Good male influences.
No, but it's not. It's a difference of having a male influence that you see on occasion than you see especially for a young man 10, 11 on up, when it's nothing that you can do for him anymore.
I kind of agree to a certain extent because having a son who's about to be 23 now, I feel like at a certain age, maybe once he had hit like 15 or 16,
10.
Probably 10 most likely. But to me, I still looked at him like he was like that's my baby. You understand? But it seems like I feel like he needed that male presence. So if he was able to actually live with his dad, that would have been perfect.
Best thing.
Because it's certain things like when I look at him now, I wish I could have done a whole lot different. I'm not saying that I didn't raise him well, but I do see where the male perspective would have came in at with certain things.
So does that too apply for boys that are raised in single parent homes and their fathers are nowhere to be found? Like, so all boys at the age of 10 are going to go through that change where
I say
they should have had to put their hold on. Or boys where their fathers are locked up, or boys where they live in a house with their father and their fathers are not mentally and emotionally present. So that's what I'm saying, like,
let's just say it like, if the parent is available and they are of sound mind, he need to be with his dad.
Okay. So he needs to be with his dad full time, and then the mother turns into what we traditionally call the weekend dad. So now she's the weekend mom.
Well, not over here.
I think the 50-50 is good.
I mean,
bingo, 50-50, yeah. You're not living here and I the hell no.
So look, y'all done raised them for 10 years, right? You took 10 years of the dad being the weekend warrior. So now you're gonna rotate roles, and he's gonna have them, and you'll just be the weekend warrior.
Well, he don't have to be the weekend warrior though. He can be the rest of the week warrior. He can be the Sunday through Wednesday warrior.
Well, whatever the agreement is, he needs to spend more time with his father.
That's what I'm saying. Like they can be halftime.
50-50.
Yeah, the 50-50, but I don't just want to give
even
you
like if
it can be 50-50
Yeah.
because if you get your so in Maryland law it's 128 days for joint custody. Add them weekends up.
I don't want to do
I can't do that kind of
if they had their kid every other weekend and you keep them on the holidays and summer break, that's going to give you your business. That's going to give you your 50%.
Really?
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
Every other weekend,
holidays including the summer break.
Okay.
Well, I know somebody
Summer break. The months.
You got summer break?
I have summer.
June through August.
Right
You
now.
know what I mean? That's going to give.
That's the argument. Though.
And it shouldn't even have to go to court with it. You should just overall want your kid to be better. So they need to be with their father at 10. That's
better. Okay, so you use the word better. Meaning that if they're with them.
Let them be able to get off that titty. Like my son father always say, your son is always hanging off of your titty. Like,
does that mean better or does that mean
more masculine?
Let him get some man up there.
Productive part of society later in life.
I think it's more better like just having that aspect of being around a man to see how a man functions, to see how a man operates. How
you know what?
Yeah, thank you.
I agree with that overall, but I think what gets in the way is women dealing with a specific man, and this is not all relationships.
Right.
We know from being with you for a certain amount of years, your downfalls and your shortcomings. Mm-hmm. So in our mind, not every woman's mind, but it's kind of like, wait a minute, you want to teach him how to be a man,
and look at
when you ain't even do this.
You're not even paying bills right.
All right, so but is
that about us or the kids? Because that sounds personal.
That's not personal. That's him. If you can't pay your bill, listen, if you are a man and you having problems paying bills and paying and keeping jobs and supporting the child that you have, what are you going to teach our child? Like,
but this is the problem I have with that. Is because then at this point I start to think like, well, you chose that man.
That too.
That is true.
Like you raised with that man. And now you're telling me you're not capable enough to instill some type of morality into this child?
If you was capable of having a baby bomb, you know what I'm saying?
Listen, somebody sneak attack. Sneak attack. Sneak attack. Sneak attacks.
Sneak attacks.
Sneak attacks.
Now we have to do that, right? You right. But that lets you know as individuals that we have to have more self-awareness. Because
bingo,
like, you know somebody wearing a mask, you can't jump into a relationship and it's not even a year and you are ready for completely, like, you know how we do. We jump in and we in situationships within 4 or 5 months. You don't know this person that well.
It exactly is guys that will get somebody pregnant and be like, I didn't know that she was that crazy. You absolutely did. You knew she was crazy. You knew she was crazy from the first day that y'all met. And she started calling you and she wouldn't stop calling you. Like you knew that she was cuckoo.
So but now we have a baby by cuckoo.
Yeah, then you got a baby by a cuckoo.
And we had to decide on visitation and we had to decide on activities for the kids.
And everybody crazy. It's not gonna work.
So look,
but again, that's making it personal.
Right, you make it personal because, like she just said, well,
Trina, you don't side with Prime. You side with me.
Unfortunately, he's making a tiny bit of sense.
It go on both sides because just like the guy could be crazy, like just like that girl could be crazy. Like you said, she called all the time. She could be crazy. She could just really dislike you a lot. That too.
Oh,
but
sweet.
On the flip side of things, that guy that you decide to lay with and let that motherfucker nut in your ass, shit.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? You
so
decided did you check to see if he got other kids and how
CONDOMS is pop. CONDOMS is pop, Jason. And we're not gonna do that.
Oh, they pop. All right.
Well, you know they pop.
You still have the final decision to say if this is a good choice or not.
Yeah, so okay. People who made a good choice can still have disagreements in how it comes to raising a child.
That's true.
Let's talk about discipline.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I'm a good parent, and I honestly feel like my children's father is a good parent.
Okay.
But I feel like men are a little bit stronger when it comes to discipline than women are. Now, thank goodness we don't like totally disagree on how we discipline our child, whether it be, you know, corporal punishment or taking things away. We are on the same page, but I feel as though his are a little bit more severe. Like I might say, you can't have your tablet for a day, and he might say you can't have your tablet for a month.
There you go.
See?
A month for a little kid?
I'm just saying, like, it can be that drastic.
Yeah.
So,
hey, you got little kids out here that know how to use 9mm pistols.
That is true.
If I can take that away from you for a month, it's probably helping your life.
Good.
See, and like,
yeah, you're right, but
I get it though.
as a mother, it's kind of like,
yeah.
Like I don't want to see my baby
cry.
suffer, but it's like suffer now or suffer later in life.
But the suffering ain't like the kid lost a limb. He just lost the tablet for a month.
Yeah.
We're gonna get it back.
But then we start to think about our own childhood trauma, and we start to intermingle that. You understand? So we just be like, I'm never gonna be with my mother and father did.
I used to just get beatings. And but I would get punished for like a month. I would lose my phone, or I was spoiled, y'all. So I might lose my car keys for a week. Things like that. But I'm not traumatized by those things, or I'm not feeling like, oh, they really hurt me. Why would they take that away from me? It makes me realize that I might have been disappointed in the moment, but now I look back and I'm okay. So I try to remember those things when their father may instill or put down a stricter punishment than I would have. I say, okay, Katrina, take a step back and know that the child will, yes, be disappointed, but it's not going to end their life. Their life.
But it's worth it.
But now if you do have two parents and the father says, let's beat the child, and the mother says, no, we won't, I feel like that could be a really, really big thing, especially if they take it to court, because now a mother might exaggerate, or even if it's the flip side, a father or mother might exaggerate and say that, oh no, they're abusing my child.
They're twisted.
I think it's like stages to having to beat a child. I don't think that you should ever just go to just
straight
beating a child. You know what I'm saying?
With every offense.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, like if I tell you to stop, all right, then I might have to tell, I got to take this from you. If you keep doing the same thing over and over, then maybe now you kind of leaving me to this. Like, this is all I got left for you.
Right.
You know? But I don't think it should ever be the first.
The first thing you
think. You know what I mean? That's that time that, like, my parents, they were 73 this year. You know, that's that time they grew up in, which was kind of after slavery. No, but really think about it, because my grandmother was 95, and she was a slave. You know what I mean? So
wait a minute, Jason.
Y'all don't blame him.
No, for real.
Blame
the this is 2023.
Yo, real shit. I'm telling you, no joke. Like, my grandmother used to be a slave picking cotton and shit. No bullshit. My grandmother was 95.
Listen, I was sitting here trying to add up time, like,
might be
Jason, because
would it be an indentured servant?
You know what I mean? She was back in them days.
Slavery ended
150 years ago. So
but you know what? But you know what? When it comes to like beatings and stuff and like the spankings things, like I tell people I gentle parent. Like, I'm rough, like I am rough, but I gentle parent, meaning I don't hit Nicholas. You see what I'm saying? Like, I really do sit and talk to him, which is probably why there may be an imbalance, and it would be different if his dad was alive, because even though I say, like, let's be clear, I am a very good mother, you know what I mean? But I also know that as stern as I am, I really am a softie. So I might sit and explain the situation. Listen, this is why this is going on. I'm about to take your tablet. Hey, I'm about to take your tablet. I'm taking them toys that I just brought. And that's that. Like, don't ask me for nothing else. I have had enough, right? And then when he starts crying and something, and like I'll try and ignore him, but and eventually I'll be like, yo, here, just don't do it again. So I know that there's probably an imbalance there. You know what I mean? Like there probably is some sort of an imbalance because I'm just one of those soft mothers. I love on them a lot. So I know that there's an imbalance, but my question is, even though you may have that with both parents, where one parent is a little bit more strict than the other, and one parent may not agree with what the other parent is doing, at what point does it get to where you don't want the other parent around the child? Like you don't want the other parent there. You don't want to let them see them. I want them to live with me. You are not a good enough parent. Like for all of those things, those are never reasons to basically say, I don't want you around our child.
Yeah, and bad co-parenting.
Right. How did we get to that point? Like, how does all of that get there?
I think it's because their emotions are involved.
Yeah.
It starts to get personal.
And you don't realize how much it can negatively affect your court case if you can't co-parent well. You know, how does it no legitimate reasons?
Right.
How does it get there? Emotions.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But how does that lead into, especially when up until all of this started, you thought that they were a good parent. You thought they was a good parent, even if it was even if it's a thing where I'm really acting like this because I just want to be with them. Like that's what it's really about. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, they were a very good parent 3 months ago. Now, all of a sudden, we got to sit in front of a judge because I shouldn't be around my child. You know what I mean? Like, how does it escalate to that? Like, that's just crazy to me.
I still agree with emotions because a breakup can really bring out the ugly side in people.
Right.
So I would even admit, my own truth. When my children's father and I first broke up, I didn't want the kids around any women. I felt like if there was a woman around, then like you are just totally being disrespectful to me. And like really, it was because I still had feelings about the relationship or I don't want to say almost no matter what he did, I didn't agree with, but a lot of things that he would do, I would say I didn't agree, but it was really not because I wanted him back per se, but I was still bitter. Like I would be the very first year, he got me Mother's Day cards from the boys, but I'm like, I'm pissed because why didn't you get me a Mother's Day card? It's like,
you ain't in love.
Right. It's like, well, I mean, now I can see that because my emotions are totally removed from the situation.
Right.
Like, I really do want to have what's in the best interest of the child. But when my emotions were involved, it could be, the slightest thing. I think I should get a Mother's Day card from you. I think we still need to all do things together, which is not a bad thing, us doing things together. But I think we all need to do things together. Why can't you be here when I do this? Why can't I still come to your family cookout with the kids? Stuff like that. Or don't have them around this one. Don't have them around that one. Even though I also, I don't think they should have them around multiple women until they're starting to get serious.
Right.
But in general, be like, no, you can't I'm coming to get my child if you got so-and-so over there with you. But now that time has passed, I'm like, look, that's your girlfriend? Good. I hope she's good to my children now. First time I hear something about her saying something out of the way to them or touching them, we're going to have a problem.
Right.
But other than that, I'm going to trust you to bring them around your significant other and that you've chosen well for somebody to be in your children's life.
That's how I always was. It's like, I trust that my child's father is going to take care and protect my son. So he's not going to have him around someone that's not going to protect him.
Yeah.
Which goes back to showing that, in some aspects you chose well. Some aspects I chose well, but I couldn't see that when my emotions were involved. Yeah. But now that my emotions are out of it, it's like, I trust you. Clearly. I can trust you to take him around another woman, and you're not just.
And that's usually a problem because a lot of people who have children and women be like, they don't want their kids around other women, and it's like, wow, you don't want them either. So it's just more when
they want them. They want them. I've always believed that women that say, I don't care what you do, but I don't want them around like other women. Why? Like, why do you have a problem with it? Because if that's the case, then that means that you are gonna be single until your child is 18. So 9 times out of 10, it's because you still have feelings for that man, and they are using that. You know, like that's because they still got feelings for that man. Right. That's what I've always been.
And Lord, please don't start using the child as a pawn. Well, if you're gonna still have her as a girlfriend, then you don't need to see your child.
Yeah, so like that's not right.
You can't see your child. And you don't agree with me.
And it's crazy because there are people like myself that are single parents by force, you know, and then there are men that really want to see their kids and they can't. Like, I don't understand that. Like, do you want a deadbeat or do you want a real man for your child? Like, I've never understood that. I think that's
but it's something with the division, I guess. Once you begin to have children by somebody, I noticed this kind of like with a lot of people's relationships. It's like once you become the baby mother, the dynamic of the situation just completely changes. It's like all that love that y'all had at one time, but then when the children comes in, it's like you start to see them in a different light. Your emotions or your feelings begin to change. And to me, I feel like that's where it begins. Like you start looking at them like, oh yeah, you ain't this, you this, because you don't see in the honeymoon phase. I guess you don't see
a lot of that.
A lot of the people's hangups in the beginning. You can't see it. You blinded to it.
You ain't that you blinded to it.
You blind yourself to it.
You're not blinded.
You wear a blindfold.
What it is?
You see that coochie and you see
it, but you're like, I'm gonna put this blindfold on.
Right, you see it and you keep going.
No, this is what happens. This is what happens. Okay. I'm gonna tell y'all.
What happens, Jason?
All right, what happens? You caught up in the fun time, right? If you having fun, you ain't got no responsibilities other than you two. You ain't want to see shit because it's you partying, drinking. Fuck, I can't cuss on this, right?
Yeah, you got a kid phone going now, so
okay. Partying, drinking, you doing whatever else it is, and time is flying.
Right.
As soon as you include a responsibility or a no, you just sit there and say no. Watch how people change.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't see who real people are until things are tested.
Right.
But,
and a responsibility can include a car, rent. It can include anything that they have.
Right. Yeah. But when it's a child, that's when you really see who a person is because a car, paying rent, stuff like that. Yeah, you can be late on a car payment. You can be a little late paying a cable bill, but you can't be late picking up or miss a day with a kid because it's different. You know what I mean? It's a different situation. So those type of responsibilities, you really see a person for who they really are.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then that's why, you know, feelings, you know, the feelings you have. So when you do see somebody good with their kid, you know, especially men, you know what I mean? Because I hear it a lot. Like, damn, I wish I had a kid's father like you. You know what I'm saying? Because you active. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's going on with a lot of the men, but
it's the truth.
You should be active, period. So that brings feelings. If they start looking at you like, damn, I fuck up. You know what I mean? I'm the baby mother for what reason? Well, guess what? You baby mother forever now because your dumb ass should stay you that. You know what I mean?
Talking about emotions.
That got personal.
Like, damn, think the grass green on the other side. But you know, but now responsibilities bring out the truth in people and problems. You know, problems bring out the truth in people. How do you handle problems?
Right.
You know what I mean? That is going to dictate how long your relationship probably going to go.
And even down to how it's going to go with co-parenting these children.
You know, co-parenting children, all that play a part because if you can get along, we can face the problem together. Everybody not meant to be together.
Right.
But it's like, all right, we face a problem. So if our kids have a problem, we're gonna work it out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's how it should be. Because it's like, how can you avoid the court systems having to come in and tell you how you're gonna raise your child? You understand? That's the one thing I always felt like. I never felt the need to take my child's father to child support or even fight for any type of custody. Because I just feel like I don't want to put another black man in the system for something or force them to do something. I just looked at it like, if you don't want to do your part, then that's just on you. That's your loss. You got to pay for that later.
Right.
I say this to that though, on a real note, seriously. People don't think this, and I get it. We try to avoid it. But if y'all not together no more, technically you should get some type of joint custody established, some guidelines and some rules. There's nothing that operates in this world that does not have guidelines and rules.
Structure, basically.
Everything has a structure. So even if y'all, get along or not, man, like it should just be documentation, period. Because things can happen. Because you think about it, if you don't have anything established, your kid is technically not custody to anybody.
Yep.
Yeah,
In the
it's
state
just-
of Maryland, it is no custody.
There's no custody. Yeah. So you gotta establish things, and everything can be done peacefully.
So your son father can literally take your
Yeah,
children
right,
out
you
the
gotta be
country.
gone.
You can't see them, and it's nothing.
And
They
there's nothing
can't
you
take
can
them
do
out
about
the country. They can't take them out the country. They can take them out of the
Take
state.
it to another
But
state.
Okay.
yeah, but if it's no custody order, like if it's no, like I remember when Nick was a baby, and even though we had our little situation going on, I remember somebody saying you really should establish custody because nobody has it, and I was like, well, he lives with me and and then that's when they explained it, like it doesn't matter in the state of Maryland, nobody has it, so you really have to go before a judge or pray that the other parent is decent. You know what I mean? And I just never understood how it really got to that point. I'm still a little lost on.
It's just
People need to think about their children. Like that's what I just think.
Yeah, what happens when you
About my
start thinking
child.
about your children in the midst of it?
You think about yourself. Why?
It's not easy
mad
to
in it.
agree on everything, though.
Right.
Yeah, you're not.
It's hard to agree on everything, and I think now it goes back to the power struggle. There's not always, but a lot of times there's going to be one party in there that just wants to be in control of everything. And it's like, if you don't see their way, then it's the highway.
Right.
That's what I feel. And because of that, you almost have no choice but to get stuff in writing.
Yeah, you got to.
And it's good because then the court system has it there is stating this is the plan. This is why you got to have a very structured plan, on a parenting plan, routines, schedules, picking them up from work, where they're gonna live at, things like that, because then it becomes a conflict.
Right.
So I do understand to agree, like why you may have to get a mediator involved at some points, but it's just one of these things where I feel like, why can't we just all work together? But I know we don't live in that kind of world.
Not that simple. I wish it was.
Yeah,
But you can.
You can, but it's not always.
It's not always that simple because not everybody wants to be a better person or to be healed and go through like what you were saying. Not everybody wants that. People like to be the way that they are. They're safe and they're comfortable.
But that's not helping your kids.
Right. And that's why we end up having these kids that grow up to be
Fucked up.
Yeah.
It can affect them. I mean, they see you
All the
arguing
time.
all the time, and one parent putting the other parent down, and
I say it every day.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't like when you have parents that talk
Bad mouthing.
negatively about the other parent to their child. I just like you making them form their decision based upon your personal feelings, and that may not even be the reality. You speaking a lot out of hurt instead of like out of truth. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I don't know. I'm just
Right. So basically, again,
what? What you say, Prime?
I said I'm coming over there next time.
No, you're not. Because I'll be over there on Tuesday. I'll be over there next week.
So basically, since we all can't really come together to agree when it comes down to the co-parenting factor, just keep this in mind. Just think about the children at the end of the day.
That's really what's.
That's all it's
important.
about. It's about the babies.
We agreed on that.
I mean, we agree on it, but when you think about it in society as a whole, the collective, not everybody can agree on that, especially people who are still operating from that lower space, who refuse to move forward. You
Mhm.
understand? People actually stay stuck for a very long freaking time.
Right. And they think they're doing what's in the best interest of the
And
child,
they're
but they're
not.
really trying to do what's in the best interest of them.
Right. And so at that point, I feel like it's not you necessarily taking the higher road, but as a parent that is trying to stand in their integrity and do the right thing, again, get the court systems involved, but make sure if you do get the court system involved that you got your what is it?
Your eyes dotted and your T's crossed.
and your T's crossed.
And
Because they make
you got
it
your
really
paper
extremely
trail.
hard
Yeah, and you got your
for
paper
fathers
trail.
to get their children, and a lot of fathers are parenting and doing single fathers. It's a lot out here. It's more than we think. Right.
All you dads, strike blood first. All I gotta tell you, strike blood
And
first.
fight for your children. I don't care what your baby
You
mother
stop
say or
advocating, fight
do.
'em.
Fight for your children. It's just empty threats at the end of the day. My son father used to say it all the time. I'm gonna go take you to court. I'm gonna get full custody.
You ain't gonna do
You ain't
nothing
gonna do nothing.
because you don't want that
Take him.
responsibility.
You will
Like,
be bringing him back. Okay, so I already know. Right?
That's one thing. I know we're about to end, but
We got to end them on the show.
we ending prime. We ending.
in 2023, the courts are still on the woman's side.
No, they not.
Or
I
has
don't
that
think that's
changed?
true.
I feel like that's changed a little bit.
I think
That's
it's
changed.
changed, especially if the man strikes first. No, I'm saying it sounds funny, but
Right.
if you go down first, you know what I mean, as a male, if you go down first and initiate joint, you know what I mean, that's going to be probably your best bet, unless you can really prove that mom is unfit.
Right.
But other than that, just go down there just to, and that's your reason to get guidelines, and not even, it's a 50-50 thing because it's helping both of us out.
Right.
You got to do this, and what you got to do, I got to do.
Right.
And it's sad. It's not even sad because, again, it's something that we're supposed to do because it shouldn't even have to go to mediation, really.
Right.
If I say, look, I want a joint custody between our kid, you got 30 days to respond. You can respond and say, okay, yes, I agree. We don't even have to see each other anymore.
Right.
We don't have to go down the road. But once the disagreements happen and now you got to prove, well, why you disagree. Okay,
Right.
well, if I'm saying I want just physical and legal custody because I want us to agree on things together, I want us to work together. If you disagree with that and you don't really have
No other reason.
any other reason other than personal, you are really wasting everybody's time.
And your
because-
money.
And your money. Because that ain't going to tell you what
Which
I
one
tried to
is?
tell you. What
Right.
that person tried to tell you. Like, nah, we can.
There's nothing wrong with 50-50.
Yeah, you
Nothing
should
at
want it
all.
that way. You should want it that
Nothing wrong
way.
with 50-50.
Especially with
Unless
boys.
there's something totally, like you said, the mother's unfit or the father's unfit. If you're both fit, then 50-50.
There's no
It's
sense in
okay.
that.
Get your emotions out of this.
60-40, you know what I mean?
Oh, whatever.
60-40. No, I would say
agree with that.
60-40. I'm what I'm saying it'd be funny, but in a sense, I think it depends on what kid you have. So, like, my daughters, I would want, at a certain point in time, I would want them to start spending more time with the mother because there's certain little things. Yeah, I can tell you from a man's perspective, hey, this is what we like as women, or there's certain things, or, I can teach you how to turn a wrench, but there's certain things, other things that, hey,
From my mother.
you need to be talking to you about your mother. Talking to your mother, but not so much grandma, not so much your aunt, your sisters. It should be
Your
your
mother.
mother should be handling. And the same thing with the fathers. Like, it should be the same way. That's why I said 10 years old, boy should be with his dad. You know what I mean? Like, majority of the time, 60% of the time, because it's a lot of things that you're not gonna be able to tell them or deal
You can't
with.
even do.
You're gonna be telling them, hey man, you need to talk to your father.
Yeah.
Because listen, the minute somebody walks in my room and saying if something happening, you're gonna have to get up. You're gonna have to get up. Somebody gotta go. You need to call somebody because I can't even tell you about how to take care of that because number one, I don't even know why you sitting there dealing with it. Like I don't. Yeah,
You
so
don't understand certain things, and even how
Yeah,
they
I get
feel.
We should have a show on
Look,
parenting, period.
right.
We should have a show on parenting.
you're gonna have to call Uncle Jason because I can't do nothing for you, buddy.
Yeah, call, hey, I got him.
Call Uncle Jason.
I done been through a lot, so I can tell him a lot.
And where the hell are my tails at? Right. And where the hell are all my tails at? And why, like stuff like that. Where the hell are my tails at? Nah.
Goodbye.
And on that note.
But listen, before we go, let's end with some positivity. So
All right, I got you. So you're welcome for me coming here.
I wasn't gonna say that, Prime, because we're gonna have a meeting about that later.
Yeah, we're gonna change that logo.
No, seriously.
Ask me why, and Prime gonna answer. That's what it's gonna be.
That's why I'm just getting right in the show, and I'm not coming back.
Get the positive affirmation.
No, so like, let's give one thing that we think that a positive co-parenting experience should be. Just one positive thing. Just one positive thing. Damn.
One positive thing is showing the children that despite everything that has happened, we can get along and let them know that it's not their fault. Because I feel like when they're caught in between, they feel as though they've done something wrong, and they haven't done anything wrong. All they did was be born. So,
I agree to that.
Just be on the same page to keep the children, like, let them know it's not their fault, and
they throw themselves in
okay.
it. Yeah, kids just throw themselves in it. This me.
That's
I
true.
was the reason, you know what I mean? Yes, I can't. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
That's
I
true.
think I got
I
something.
agree with that.
I feel like
That was good, Katrina.
it was.
It was very good.
That was better than what Tian was gonna say. So, you know what I mean?
It was very good.
Better than what Tian had.
All right, my turn.
I heard that, Prime. I heard that.
I feel as though, damn, I forgot what I was gonna say. I feel like you should be able to work together as a team. So teamwork, I feel like, is a good thing. Even if you're not with that parent, you still should be able to not necessarily say be friends, but you should be able to show your children that you still have a good relationship. It doesn't have to be a toxic situation, so that they'll know how to have healthy relationships when it comes time for them to do it. Because like my son is straight, like, I don't want to get married, I don't want to do this, just based off of what he's seen. So I feel like that's a good contribution.
Yeah, dope.
What about you?
What you got, Tian?
I was just going to say, just remember that your children are not going to be children for long. They will be adults. And at some point, you don't want them growing up with trauma that's a result of the shit that you put them through because of whatever issues you had with their other parent. So just remember that. You are raising adults, and they're not going to be a child for long. So you need to think about that. See? Now say something smart.
That was good. That was good. I'm proud of you. Proud of you. Yep.
All right, so we done. Thank you guys for tuning in. We definitely appreciate you. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe button, and until we meet again next Tuesday, possibly at 7 p.m.
Trina won't be here, and neither will Prime. Don't expect no more guests. If it's not Trina, it'll just be me and T. That's it. All right, y'all. Oh, I can't hit in. I don't like that.
Peace out, y'all.
I don't like that. Peace.
We got to figure that out.